CNBC-TV18 and Intel present Business Comes Alive, Intelligence Everywhere. Moving on to our next Lightning Talk session on Intelligence Everywhere, AI and IoT to enable business. Our speaker for this session is Ankit Khanna, CPO, MakeMyTrip.
Hi everyone, I'm Ankit Khanna. I'm the Chief Product Officer for MakeMyTrip Group. I take care of product innovations and product development for all the new and strategic initiatives being taken by MakeMyTrip. And today I will be talking about how at MakeMyTrip and Goibibo as two brands, we are using data, we are using intelligence, we are using artificial intelligence to bring the best possible consumer experience in the travel industry. So first, the biggest use case for us when it comes to artificial intelligence and data science is the chatbots. It's something that we have been working on it for the last 2 to 3 years. And the need originated purely from two big problem statements. One, consumers would want to reach out to you. And when they want to reach out to you, they would have all kind of queries. Now, when you put a human behind it, then it becomes some sort of an experience which is very cost heavy. And second, the intelligence is not something which is ingrained in that human to answer all the queries. And this led to us to start thinking about the chatbots. So now presenting our virtual assistant that we call it. The name of our virtual assistant is Myra. So let's catch up on the few things on behalf of Myra. Now, just going back to some history and just to set the context that what different kind of businesses say about chatbots. First, all the business probably would come together and say that it cut down operational cost. Operational cost could be of any kind. It could be manpower. It could be the loss of business. It could be how much time does it take to get back to the consumer so the consumer can go back to any other competition and all that. It definitely helps to improve the brand outlook. Because when you as a brand is always available to your consumer, then it puts a lot of trust in your brand. And this is what consumers are looking for. They empower the team, expand their reach because using this chatbot, everyone is available to the consumers. And obviously, when you are available and you can actually act as a filter to drill down the right information which can come to you, where you can put your actual people and solve the consumer problems. Very cost effective. So when I say cost effective, the long-term cost is which makes it effective. But in short term, it requires heavy technology investment and right mindset to build something which can be very useful for the end consumer. Last but not the least, all the materials, probably I will not just limit it to this particular segment. I think everyone with the advent of other chat platforms, social platforms, whether it's WhatsApp or Telegrams of the world, or any other social platform like Insta, Facebook, people are very used to this kind of an interface, and they expect the similar kind of interface when it comes to brands. So definitely chatbots are here to stay. Now, just talking about some of the global trends which were predicted on the lines of chatbots by different research companies. First is the Gartner report, which highlighted two things for the upcoming years. One, customer interactions will be handled without a human agent. And the reason behind is that when we say it's without a human agent, but actually when the consumer is interacting, it doesn't look like that there is no human behind it. But in this case, instead of human, we have intelligence, which is driven by a lot of research and a lot of technology intervention. Now, the report also talked about that in future to come, all the enterprises, whether small, medium, or large, will spend a lot more on chatbots and mobile apps. So this is slightly different from how it used to be a few years back, where chatbots were pretty much limited to the big screen. But now with more and more mobile penetration, and especially in the context of India, where the growth is actually happening on the mobile front, this is bound to happen. Now, 8 billion savings and 2.5 billion saved by businesses is just a reflection of what potential it can have. But in my view, the potential is far more. It totally depends on what use cases you would want to use the chatbots for. which I will probably cover in the following slides. Last, the research agency Global Market Insight predicted that this could be the potential size of chatbots. Now, when we talk about this size, I think what we are also undermining the very simple fact that most of the large organizations like ours probably will build chatbots ourselves. So the need, the potential is far, far bigger than what is being projected by these agencies. Now, this is where probably I want to spend more time. That what are the different functional areas or use cases where we are using the chatbot Myra? Now, Myra, actually, the genesis of Myra started with post sales, and the post sales experience in case of travel. Because if you see, both travel experience is entirely digital. What you buy online, you consume online, obviously, but the final consumption happened on the ground, whether it's a flight, whether you check in into a hotel, or whether you on board a bus or a train. But the digital journey of buying the experience has to be handled digitally. And most of the post-sale experience, what we realized that needed a lot of customer handholding, even if you build the right self-serve tools, because the anxiety level of the consumer when he is actually has a problem is far higher. And this is where we felt that if we want to make it super scalable and not make it dependent on the human intervention, this is where we felt the genesis of chatbot. Now, chatbot, if you see, it is a far more advanced version of what you can build when the human is talking to you. Because in case of chatbot, you can build the right context of the consumer. If any consumer comes to you and talks to Myra, then that Myra knows that who are you, for which booking are you going to talk about, what could be the potential reason that why would you reaching out to Chad Myra, and what could be the possible answers, and depending on those answers, you can again have more questions. So this actually led us to build something internally called Myra. So the first use case that we actively work on is post sales. Second is Trip Assistant. So Trip Assistant is like so post sales is after you have done the transaction, but Trip Assistant is when you are even have done the transaction and you are about to take a flight or you want to get on a trip. And this is when actually you need a lot of information about the status of the flight, what time it is going to be, is the web check-in open, or, I mean, in the airport, is where is the gate, how far is the gate, when is the gate to get going to get closed, when you are reaching a destination, how far is the hotel, what is the best way to reach the hotel, what is the best commute to reach the hotel, if you're going on an excursion, how much time will it take, again, how much advance you should reach that excursion point, what are the different kind of things you can do, how you should manage your lunch, how you manage your meal, if you're carrying with a baby or if you have an adult, I mean the senior citizen with you, what are the other nuances you need to take. So everything around your trip or your travel journey, we have put it in something called Trip Assistant. It's like your own travel agent or your own friend who is going to assist you to make this trip very much possible for you. Third is pre-sales. Now we are going back to the journey planning, where you have a lot of nuances of when you're looking for any destination. Then you have very, I would say, not defined thoughts that okay, I have 5 days. I want to go to a relaxing destination. Okay, I don't want a flight time or I don't want a driving time be more than 6 hours or 7 hours. But I want to go something where the temperature is about 25-30%, so that it's very nice and sunny and all that. So now all this information, which probably all of us use different kind of platforms, Google, TripAdvisor, or many other blogs, which we randomly search on Google and look for the information. Imagine that all that information being put together to you in the form of a something where you can actually converse, but not to a human, but to a virtual assistant, which can help you to decide which destination to go, and then you can follow up with different different booking options. The last but not the least is something chat with host. Now, in the world of hotels, the new innovation happened 7 to 10 years back when people which have their extra houses or rooms or maybe their holiday cottages and all that, they started putting uh, them on a platform where anyone can go and live there and can have a homely feel. And the category which probably people call it is villas, apartments, and some of such destinations which carry very nice and unique experiences where you can live. Now, all these experiences or properties are not owned by hotel chains or large organizations. They are owned by individuals, which manage one or multiple properties individually and directly with the consumer. Now, to enable such experience, you need something in between, because an email as a platform or maybe a call as a platform is not scalable, and it's not real time. So again, we have utilized this chatbot as a technology to do something where an host, which is the owner of that property, can actually talk to a consumer. And there could be two elements. One is a chatbot element where we can use what could be the possible queries of the customer, and then host can post those answers upfront. And if those are not settled by the host, then he can actually go on and do the chat with the consumer. So these are the four big areas where we're using the chatbot for. Now, if I particularly talk about AI in the real context of chatbots, there are two possible kind of engagement. One is very task oriented. Like think of a more robust FAQ, which I was saying, which are the possible queries. Most common type of chatbot so far, user initiated queries where you can put some automated responses. You can talk about conversational menus. Use NLP, the natural language processing, but not machine learning. So basically, a lot of our consumers, if you see, come from a background where they may be super comfortable with Hindi, but when they talk, they use a very phrases, slangs, mix of 2, 3 words, and then they expect you to answer. Imagine when you have billions of such queries coming to you in a month's time, and you have to assess that which is the best possible um, relative question which the consumer is looking for. So this is where this entire AI comes in picture. And this is how you learn with experience and build a right feedback loop to answer the consumer. Using the highly specialized and structured interactions. So when you get such large volume of raw data, then you actually structure it into some very well-defined interactions and put it out in your engine, and then it put it out what is the right possible match, and then you answer the consumer. Now this is where you break everything into more like a task. Now when you actually really want to become a predictive kind of a platform, but the backbone of that predictive kind of a platform is the data which you have already gathered over months, over years, when the consumer reaches out to you, right? So now, and then actually you also need to understand that who is the consumer. Then you put up a layer of personalized experience, right? For example, when I'm reaching out to you and saying, okay, can you tell me how much time will it take for me to get my refund? And obviously, most of the queries are not structured like this. And also most of the people don't spell it in the most structured format. So when somebody would be writing please, so it may be like PLS instead of please, or it could be instead of you, YOU, it could be just you. So that is one element. Second element is that when the consumer is reaching out to be and he has a certain query, then how do you understand the consumer and then build a mindset? This comes very handy when you are doing a pre-sales kind of an experience where, when the consumer is looking for some sort of a range of hotels, but this consumer is someone who always stay in budgeted properties. Or you also know that this consumer has a family where there are 2 children and the children age is in the range of 6 to 10 years. Now, the options that probably you would give it to him would be based on this personalized experience. I think the biggest intelligence comes in play when you're using the natural language processing and machine learning and make these algorithms very much self-aware and self-learning, so that as and when they solve such phrases, such words, such spelling, they learn that how to respond in a fraction of a second. And this is where your machine learning comes in play. And then obviously when you have gathered such large volume of data, then how do you use that data to build a predictor? So as soon as the consumer tries to reach out to you, you know that who is this consumer, what is his way of going to, how he's going to talk to you, what kind of right methodology that you need to bring in for you to build the right experience for you. And this is actually where our unified data platform also comes in play, because the data which will flow to this kind of a chatbot will come from multiple sources, whether it's something like it could be transaction data, it could be derived data, it could be some sort of a non-derived data, which we can learn from location, device, how often what time he visits, what is the device type, how frequently he changes the device, and lot more. So all this put together makes this chatbot rich and rich over the period.
Thank you, Ankit. To attend the next Lightning Talk session, please return to the virtual platform's auditorium section.